And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 4th episode of the Healing Code Cards free e-course, where in this episode we're going to be talking about the overview of the Healing Code card decks. So, with the 4th episode, this is going to be the final episode within the series here of the Healing Code Cards free e-course. This will also be available on healingcodecards.com under the tutorial section as well. So, through these past episodes, it's been really great just being able to share the potential that all of these cards have with all of you, and taking your questions as well too. So we will be taking questions later on, just making sure that the questions pertain to the Healing Code Cards e-course. Okay, so I know my channel has a wide variety of topics and questions that we can get into, but today we're mostly just focusing on the Healing Code cards. So that's just a heads up for everybody that's in the chat right now. But we'll be getting into Q&A here a little bit later on. So as we looked into episode 1, episode 2, episode 3 being the body deck, the mind deck, and the energy deck, you guys are getting an idea about what is in store with all of the card decks specifically, the type of cards that are there. If I'm holding up the body deck here, looking at the kidney enhancer, if I'm looking at the mind deck here, looking at the navel chakra releaser, that one just kind of comes up. And of course the energy deck, positive, polarity, collector, of course, working together with the negative polarity receiver. So these cards, again, are complementary to one another. So you are able to work with all three decks in complement to one another. They are not separate. They are not meant to be used individually. They can be used together in unity as well. So again, I'm just going to go over some of the important insights regarding the cards when you first get them. So one of the best ways to start working with the cards, if you do not know where to begin, if you're uncertain about how to use the cards, even though you've read the instruction manual, even though you're looking at the tutorials, and you still feel like you don't really know where to begin, well, you would just take your Healing Code Cards deck. Let's say, for example, it's the body deck here, and we would just give it a shuffle. What I'll do is I'll just adjust my camera so you can see the cards below here. Okay, move that aside. Okay, so we would just have a shuffle here. And while I'm shuffling the cards, I would just say to the cards, what are the top 3 cards that would best serve me? What are the top 3 cards that would best serve me for my healing journey at this time? Okay, so I just give them a shuffle, and I'm just talking to them. I can either have my eyes open or closed, doesn't matter. So what would be the top 3 cards that would be beneficial for my healing journey at this time? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so pain eliminator, kidney enhancer, lymphatic enhancer. Okay, so these would be some ideas that I could look into. So pain eliminator, yeah, maybe getting rid of some stiffness in the back or stiffness in the shoulders. Kidney enhancer, yes, could work on enhancing the kidneys. And of course, lymphatic enhancer, working on the lymphatic system. So these are great. So that would be the example of what I could do. I could start working with these 3 cards right away. And of course, I could pull out the amplifiers. See if I can find the amplifiers in the deck now that I gave it a shuffle. Okay, here's a 20x amplifier, 10x amplifier, 5x amplifier right there. 3 in a bunch. So let's say, okay, if my pain eliminator, it's not too extreme, so I think I'll use a 5x amplifier for the pain eliminator. Okay, so again, I'm taking the amplifier, I'm putting it right behind the card, and then I'm just deciding to put it right on the body. Okay, I didn't even have to do the gaze method. I just took the cards and I just put it right on the body, just like that. Okay, so the same thing with the 10x amplifier. I know there's green screen on, so you may not be able to see it too well. Looks kind of cool though. 10x amplifier, because there's green here. And the kidney enhancer. Okay, so I would just put it behind the card just like that. And now the amplifier is going to working with the kidney enhancer, amplifying its energy, or rather amplifying its codes with your energy. So your energy is being amplified at the same time. The codes are being amplified at the same time. And like I said, that energy is moving back into yourself with these new codes that are now coming into the body. So I'm going to discuss that a little bit more, because some people are still maybe a little bit confused about that, and saying, well, Brad, how does the cards work again? It's cool that I can shuffle them. It's cool that I can use them. It's cool that I can do the amplifiers with them. But how do these cards truly work? So like I elaborated in the first episode, right? All of these cards represent codes contained within the geometry. So this is why I'm using the geometric patterns. These geometric patterns are not really used too much for the mathematical properties, but for containment properties. So when I'm actually going into meditation and I'm putting the codes directly into the geometry is what's holding this together, because that again is what specifically the codes are made out of. The cards are made to be held, the codes I should say, are made to be held directly into the geometry. So this acts again as a matrix. It acts as a collector of energy, and it's again returning that energy back to you. And as I've talked about, there are people who may have very strong, potent energies that as soon as they see the card, they're blown away by it, right? Their energy just gets blasted right back into them, and they feel that energy coming strongly back to themselves. So as I said, the cards do not have energy of their own that's blasting towards you. It's very much like a pyramid, right? A pyramid itself, when you step into the pyramid, you are seeing your own energy getting tremendously amplified. So if you've ever stepped into, maybe like one of those frame pyramids, or, people have some of their self-built pyramids as well too, and you work with them, you will notice that your energy gets tremendously amplified. Well, that's basically what these cards are doing as well too. These cards also have that kind of built-in amplification. But the amplifiers, again, of the decks are a lot more stronger. And so again, they are amplifying their codes to bond together with your energy. So if I was to basically pick up an amplifier just by itself here, and just holding that to myself, my energy is now getting amplified back together, because that's what the code within this card represents. It's reflecting that energy of myself back to me as an amplification. So when I put that together with the kidney enhancer here, that amplification is now coming into me, right? It's now coming back to me on a much more stronger, potent level. So this is what I would usually suggest if a person has thin life force energy. Okay, if they have thin life force energy, what I would suggest is you use the amplifiers. Okay, the amplifiers will help to pick up that energy, to help to make it a little more stronger for you, so that you're absorbing it quite well. Okay. So like I said, it's mainly if people have not really done their meditation work, if they haven't really been working with their life force energy, they haven't really been doing yoga, they really haven't been doing any form of internal alchemy exercises, Tai Chi, Qigong, martial arts, anything of that nature. If you have not been doing that, and your energy has been very, very thin, then that's what I recommend, is just having an amplifier together behind a card, and that's going to help with amplifying the codes, and again, kind of penetrating them a lot more deeper into the body. But like I said, it's your own energy field itself that is making these cards what they are. So whether you're very potent, very strong with your life force energy, then you're going to have a really great time working with these cards. If it's a little more thin, it may take you a little bit more time, but I would also suggest just doing some breathing techniques like pranayama, right? Working together with some internal exercises, working with meditation, maybe doing some qigong, okay? Maybe looking into some tai chi, just getting your energy body stronger, right? Really working with the energy body. When your energy body gets stronger, the healing code cards are going to have a greater effect to you. This is what I've noticed. From the time that I started using them to where I am right now, the energy of the healing code cards improve, because it's just my energy reflecting back to me. So I would say the potency of the healing code cards improve, because I'm bringing potency stronger into my own energy field. Now, another common question that people have as well too regarding the healing code cards is, well, Brad, can I let my husband use this? Can I let my wife use this? Can I let my brother or my sister use this? Can I let my kids use this? Because I basically bought this deck for myself, but can they use it at the same time? Are they able to use these cards as well too? Well, we have to remember that when we're looking at the healing code cards, they are personable for every single individual who uses them. Okay, so if I'm using the mouth throat enhancer right now, okay, and somebody else is right next to me, and they come right next to me and they're holding their this card now with their hand, we are now both receiving the benefit of the mouth throat enhancer, because our fields are crossing through the healing code card itself. And so both me and that other person would receive the benefits of the mouth throat enhancer. It goes back to what I say to everybody about that you are the only perceiver here. You're the only perceiver in your reality. And so when another person approaches you and says, oh, cool, what do you got there? Oh, this is the mouth and throat enhancer from the body deck of the healing code cards. Here, grab a hold of it. Okay, cool. So now, as you are the only perceiver in your reality, and you are perceiving this, you're going to reap the benefits from everything that's contained inside the codes of this card. Your energy is cycling through, and like I said, it takes that approximate 60 seconds to do a full orbit, a full cycle of your own energies, and receiving the codes of this card. So I'm here, the other person is here, we're benefiting with that together. Even if I was to take the deck and hand it off to another person, so here you go, you can use them for a bit. Now, those cards are immediately calibrated to that person, okay? That's how it works, wherever there's an energy field, okay? A living energy field from a conscious being, they are going to receive the benefits from the healing code cards, okay? So that's how it works. This is not just something for yourself. If you just buy the deck that it's only for you and nobody else can use it, no. It's the complete opposite of that. Anybody is able to use the healing code cards deck. They are universal in their usage. They are universal in their function. They will work for everybody, okay? But as I've said, that the healing code cards are an addition to your healing. They are not your only thing. So if that's all you're deciding to use, I said, no, please make sure that you're using other things as well too. Please make sure you're eating well. Please make sure you're taking care of yourself. Please make sure you're meditating. Look into some other healing modalities as well too. And the healing code cards complement that. So this is not your replacement, okay? Healing code cards is not a replacement for anything. It's an addition. It's a complement, an additional assistance for your own healing journey as well too. Well, Brad, what about my pets? What about animals? Can I use this for animals as well too? You most certainly can, okay? So if you have, let's say, a dog that's maybe not feeling too well, they feel like they're pretty sluggish, maybe they have some liver problems or anything of that nature, well, all you would do is you would just find, oh, just use a kidney example, if they have kidney problems in that sense. Okay, one of the best things you can do with your animal is, number one, you can wait till they're asleep. If they're resting, just put that down on their body while they're sleeping, okay, and just leave it there. That's a good thing you can do. Second thing you can do, okay, just have a water dish. Of course, it's going to be different here. But if you have their water dish, just lean a card right against their water dish. And they can get all the codes directly into that water dish. And they go for a drink, they'll start getting all the codes in their body as well too. Number three you can do is just have a picture of them. Okay, you have a picture of your dog, you put it down, face down on top of the card, and you just put the card aside. That's the capture method, okay? If you want to show this to your dog, and if your dog is actually able to gaze at it for more than 60 seconds, sure, they can do that, but that may not be quite common for your animal, okay? So this is why I would recommend the other three methods for your pets, for your animals, okay? So whether it be a dog, a cat, whatever else you may have, okay? But like I said, the best way if you want to have it on their body is wait till they're asleep. Just wait till they're sleeping and just put it on their body, right? That goes for a dog or a cat, okay? Not sure if you have a pet snake or something like that. Maybe it's a little bit different. For a pet snake, I don't know. Maybe you can use the capture method for that. Maybe you could charge their water for it as well too. I don't know. Depends what you have. If you have some exotic animals, well, you have to kind of improvise. But that's the basic idea, right? For the dogs and for the cats, we can work with the water dish. We can work with a picture through the capture method. We can place it upon their body when they're sleeping. Okay, the same thing goes with newborn babies. Okay, newborn babies will benefit greatly from the healing code cards as well. Okay, if the mother has been going through certain conditions, if she's been going through a lot of hard times, during her pregnancy, if she's had some health problems as well too, then through sympathetic resonance, some of that can transfer onto the child. Okay, so we want to be aware of that. So when we have the newborn baby in the bassinet, we can put some healing code cards right beside the baby while they're sleeping. Okay, and I would suggest just starting to work with their organs, work with their major organs. Okay, so we want to work with the brain enhancer, we want to work with the heart enhancer, we want to work with the lungs enhancer, the liver enhancer, the spleen enhancer, the kidney enhancer, the small intestinal enhancer, the large intestinal enhancer, the stomach enhancer, the pancreas enhancer. Okay, just getting all the major organs cleared up. And you can put quite a few around the baby because the baby is filled with this pure vital life force. Okay, so they're not sluggish. So you could put quite a few around there. I'd say you could probably put maybe up to about a dozen cards right around the baby as the baby is sleeping. Okay, that will work tremendously. Okay. What about for little kids? What about when they're rambunctious? They're 4 or 5 years old, they're constantly playing, I can't get them to sit still. Well, then you would basically do it no more different than with your animals. You would wait till your kids are asleep. Okay, and then you would put the cards around them as well too. Or if they want a glass of water, right, just charge the water up, let them drink the water with the codes in it. Or again, have the capture method, use a picture of them, put it down, face down on the card, and again, they're going to reap the benefits of it. So there's always options. So whether you have animals, whether you have a baby, whether you have young kids, right, even when you have grandparents, when you have your seniors in the home as well too, and they're too fussy and they're too old hat for this and say, no, I don't want anything to do with that, blah, 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 blah. But if you know it will help them, right, you talk to their higher self, you talk to spirit. Okay, you go into meditation and saying, my grandpa is here. I'd really like to help him. He's having problems with diabetes. He's having problems with his lungs, right? I want to be able to help him with his pancreas and with his liver, but he's physically refusing it. But if I go to the higher self, if I connect to the higher self, I connect with spirit, I do meditation, maybe I do divination as well too. I said, is it okay that I use this? I'd say 9 times out of 10, you'll get a yes. Okay, so the best thing to do, maybe wait till he's sleeping, then put a card on his head. Maybe that's one way of doing it. Okay, or just charging his water, or again, using the capture method, using a photo of him, putting it down on the card, and just putting that card aside, right? So the physical aspect of him may refuse, but this is where you're connecting with the spiritual side of him, right? You're connecting to his spirit, you're using divination, you're going into meditation, maybe you're doing the tarot, maybe you're doing a pendulum, right? You're meditating, you're looking into this within. Is it okay if I can use this on my granddad? Is this okay if I can use this on my grandma? Because they're both so super stubborn, but I want to do something to help them. There you go. Go ahead and talk to their spirit. Right? Their spirit decides all. That's really what's in charge here. Okay, so you can certainly do that as well too for grandparents. You can do that for people who are, even if it's the adults, right, the middle-aged adults, if they're too stubborn as well too, and you know that they got health problems, doing the exact same thing as well too. Work with divination, work with meditation, talk to their spirit, and that will certainly help as well too. Well, Brad, what if they're so unbelievably stubborn in regards to their beliefs, right? If I have a kidney enhancer here and I know that their kidneys are in bad shape, will their lack of belief prevent the cards from working? Well, that all depends, but really I would say no. Okay, beliefs really don't matter in this context, especially when you're working just with healing the physical body. Okay, it would be a little bit more different if we're working on the mental and emotional bodies, okay, because they're holding on to things. But with the physical body, we can help to a certain degree. Okay, we may not be able to completely 100% resolve the case, but we can certainly help. It'll certainly help to improve their condition over time. Okay, the important thing to remember is that the healing code cards work together with subtle energy. Okay, this is a subtle energy spiritual technology. Okay? This is not about intense energy. This is not about getting blasted in your face. And the only reason you're being blasted in your face is because your energy is very potent. Your energy is very strict. Your energy is very, very thick. Your energy has been strictly disciplined, right, through your work that you have been doing. So that's the only reason why you're basically getting a blast. This is why I show it to some people who are doing energy work and holy crap, this is powerful, powerful stuff. I said, well, it's your energy. Your energy is powerful. And so the healing code cards are going to work really, really great for you. They're going to penetrate deeply into the cells. They're going to penetrate deeply into your energy signature, and they're going to do wonders for you because your energy is already very strong, very potent, and very ripe right? So like I said, people that may have a little bit more of a trouble, right, if their energy is very thin, just spend some time working in making your energy potent. Pranayama breathing, meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, martial arts, okay? These are very, very simple things, depending upon the exercise, of course, but it's going to help to improve your energy over time because you're working more with the inner body. You're working with the subtle bodies. And when your energy becomes a lot more potent, the healing code cards are going to be incredible. They're going to work for you quite well. So another question may be, well, what, Brad, I have plants. What can I use for the plants in that sense? Well, this would be where the mind deck would come in, okay? So through the mind deck, we would want to work with the Love Energy Enhancer. Let's see if I can find it here. I think they're still in here somewhere. Let me see. It's Mental Energy Enhancer. Okay, it's not in this deck. I think it's downstairs or something. But basically, I have a Love Energy Enhancer. Okay, so basically, you can look at the Love Energy Enhancer and the Spirit Light Purifier. I'm using them to actually charge my water downstairs. So, but you can work with the Love Energy Enhancer and the Spirit Light Purifier that you can find in the mind deck. When you have your plant, we just use this little guy here. Probably can't see him because it's green screen, but oh, you can kind of see him. So if I have, for example, the Love Energy Enhancer, I'm just going to put him right over here for the plant, okay? And just start charging the plant and just leave it there for a little bit of a time. So maybe I'll use it there, leave it there for 24, 48 hours, okay? And I'll use the Love Energy Enhancer and I'll use the Spirit Light Purifier, okay? Those are two very wonderful cards you can use as well too. Also in the energy deck, you could also look at the Tree Life Force Integrator, okay? Tree Life Force Integrator, you can put that on your plant as well too. It has the life force of the tree, right? So that is going to aid plants as well too. So in the energy deck, you can work with a Tree Life Force Integrator for your plants at the same time, okay? So that life force is being contributed to the tree or to the plant in question, and that can also assist also, okay? So these are just kind of getting over the basic overview, the basic FAQs that I get quite often from people about the healing code cards, because they want to make sure that they can share it with others. Absolutely, you can share it with others. They want to still get an idea about the internal process, about how it does work with the body. One of the other common questions is, well, Brad, when can I expect to see results from the healing code cards? And I say, well, that really depends upon the person, right? If you, like I said, if you pick up a card first and foremost, and you're just blown away by that because you feel the energy is so intense, like I said, it's just the cycling, it's the reflection of your own energy coming back to you, then you're probably going to do very, very well. If you start using a card like this quite frequently, right? I would say if you're basically putting about 5, 10, 15 minutes per day, just working together with the healing code cards, right? Having them on your body, drinking water with them, charging the water with them, gazing at them, using the capture method as well too. If you're doing about 5 to 15 minutes per day with someone that has a very healthy potency with their energy, you can start seeing benefits within a matter of a couple weeks, okay? Some people, again, that may have thinner energy may take actually a couple of months, okay? So I'd probably say maybe about 3 months. If they're working 5 to 15 minutes per day with the healing code cards, whether it be 1 card or 3 cards, for example, but if they're working together with that, using the methods, okay, 5 to 15 minutes per day, then I'd say maybe after about 3 months, they may start to feel some really great changes and improvements within the body. As I said, this is subtle energy. This is not intense energy. This is the subtle energy coming into your body, doing work, okay? Your body gets rebuilt, and it continues to go rebuild, and it works together in the complement of the natural cycles of how your body gets rebuilt, right? So basically we get our body completely repaired and redone over a span of 7 years. Everything just gets rebuilt, replenished over a 7-year span. I'm not saying you have to use this for 7 years straight, but you're noticing that, again, even through 30-day cycles, we start seeing some major improvement within the body, okay? So we can start noticing that we're breathing better. If we're working with like the ears enhancer, right, we may notice that we can hear better, right? If we're working with the eye enhancer, we're noticing that our eyes can actually see a little bit better, okay? If we've had a lot of horrible headaches, Okay, and we're using the headache eliminator. We're noticing that the headaches are going away. Okay, if we notice that we've had an irregular heartbeat and we've been working with the heart enhancer for quite some time, for maybe a couple of weeks, we're noticing that that irregular heartbeat is going away. We're feeling that the heart palpitations are going away. Okay, if I've had some digestive problems, if I had problems with the lower intestine, the small intestine, the large intestine, if I had problems with that, after a couple of weeks, I'm noticing that I can, there's no more gurgling in the stomach, there's no more indigestion, there's no more diarrhea, right? All of that is fading away. So again, this is how it works. We just continue to monitor our progress. And one of the things I suggest most is just having a notebook. Having a notebook, having a notepad handy, and just writing down, okay, what type of cards did I use today? Okay, I feel like I have thin energy, right? Because if I'm picking up this card right now, I'm not really feeling that there's too much energy coming through it. And again, this is something I want to work on. I want to work on building up the potency of my own life force energy. And so that's something I'll write down. And then I'll do day 1, day 2, all the way to day 21. Okay, so here's 3 weeks. How am I feeling after these 3 weeks? Because I've written down things every single day. I wake up in the morning and I'm aware of how I feel. Here comes the evening. Okay, I'm writing down how I feel. So if that's something you want to do, right, just in the evening, you write down how you're feeling. The next morning, you're writing down how you're feeling. So work with the morning, work with the evening, and just write down how you're feeling. What cards are you working with? What method are you using with the cards? How long have you been using the cards for? Are you using them for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, etc.? This is you keeping track of everything. Okay, so what cards am I using? Okay, what method am I using? How long am I using them for? And what are the results that I'm feeling right now? So I may just feel really not too much right now. Just feels kind of feel content. Okay, great. So we keep using the cards. We come up the next morning. So I feel a lot better. I feel like I can breathe a lot better. I had a problem with my lungs, and I'm noticing I'm breathing a lot better now. I can actually take full breaths without that irritation. Great. That's showing some great progress. Okay. This is how the healing code cards work. They're not here to, wave a flag and blow a trumpet and saying, yeah, it was all us, right? We're the ones that are doing this. They work silently behind the scenes. Okay. So even when you're working with a healing code card, even when you're putting it on the body and you're just taking a bit of a nap here, it's an hour later, healing code card is still on your chest. You wake up, yeah, you feel a little bit different, okay? They're not here to tout about themselves and say, yeah, we did this, we did this, we did this. They're very, very humble, okay? So they just let the subtle energy work within the body continuously for as long as you use them. And they just very silently, very quietly start to repair things, okay? And you have to check in with yourself. You got to check in and say how I'm feeling. Because I was talking about a shoulder cramp the other day, and here I am working with the cards. Wow, I don't even feel that shoulder cramp the other day. And here it is the day later, and that shoulder cramp feels like it's practically gone. I'd say it's about 95% better. Okay, I've actually had that success with the healing code cards as well too, with shoulder issues. Okay, so again, it's just about keeping track of how well you are working with the healing code cards, how often you're using them, what methods are you using, right? If you're doing the gaze method, you're doing that for 60 seconds. Maybe the next day I'll try the body method, okay? And the day after that, maybe I'll work with the water method. And the day after that, maybe I'll try the capture method. So it's also not essential for you to basically work with the methods in order, okay? So the healing code card methods relate to the 4. Number 1, the gaze method, where you're looking at the card, okay? Number 2, the charging method, where you're charging water with the card. Number 3, the body method, where you're placing the card on the body. Number 4, the capture method, where you're placing a photo of yourself face down on top of the card and then just putting it aside, okay? And having it work for as long as you want it to. And just keep track and saying what method really works for me. Maybe all 4 methods work great for me. That's good. Maybe I'm noticing one method stands out more than another. I notice that maybe if I'm charging my water and I'm drinking, I'm just sipping my water down, that really gives me the greatest benefit. Great, then use that. Right? So you do not have to do all 4 methods if you don't want to. If you find a method that really, really works well, then that's the method you stick with one of those 4 methods. Okay? So they do not all have to be used, but it's an idea that you can just get an idea of I'm going to use them and see which one works best for me. and maybe one stands out more than another. And that's the method you can use. Okay? So there's no strict protocol pertaining to that either. Okay? Use any method that you feel benefits you the most. So sample each one and find out which one works best for you. Okay? All right, so that's really the overview that I wanted to share with you guys, just in regards to the healing code cards. So what we'll do now is we'll go to questions. Let me just go ahead and shift to the live chat. And again, hello everybody. So here's a question here from Kels that comes up actually quite often. That was another one I forgot about. Do the healing code cards have to be cleansed somehow at any point after usage? Nope, nope. Now, if you want to clean down the cards, you can certainly do that, right? If the cards are gathering dust, then certainly give them a wipe in that way. But no, the healing code cards do not work like a crystal does. Okay, a crystal can get contaminated because it's so susceptible to energy, right? With the healing code cards here, these codes that are contained in the cards cannot be contaminated by materialistic energy. Okay, they cannot be contaminated by the physical. So because they are hard coded directly into the geometry itself. Okay. So if I'm picking up a card here, I'll use another card besides those two, since I've used those ones already. Okay, here's Cellular Enhancer. So if I'm taking a look at the Cellular Enhancer right here, like I said, this is the Body Deck Special Edition. So it has a laminated finish on it, so it's pretty sturdy, it's pretty strong. The Mind Deck doesn't really have that, right? It's kind of more of a matte design, but the new Mind Deck will have that. The Energy Deck that's coming will be very durable, like the Body Deck Special Edition as well too, okay? But basically, if I'm looking at this, all of the cards, in regards to their codes, are completely imbued permanently into this geometry, okay? For as long as this card exists in its exact design as it is, those codes will never, ever be broken. They will never shift out of the way. They will never be skewed or anything that way. The only way you would skew it is if you took your card and ripped it, okay? Then, of course, you destroy the geometry, and then the card becomes rendered useless. So if there's rips in the cards, for example, then yes, you're basically skewing the energy. It's not too bad if they're bent or anything of that nature, as long as the image itself here, right, just in between the borders is completely intact. Okay, if it's completely intact, the geometry is completely intact, the codes will continue to work. Those codes are completely embedded, hard-coded directly into the cards. So they do not need to be cleansed, other than you just doing some physical cleansing of it. Like I said, if they gather dust or something of that nature, then feel free to wipe them down. That's fine. But in regards to an energetic cleansing, no, that's not necessary. It's very different from a crystal. Okay? A crystal, like I said, they can be susceptible. They can be susceptible to the material plane. The physicality of the cards can certainly be susceptible to the physical plane. Like I said, if there's rips or tears in them, then again, it's pretty much rendering the card useless. All right? But again, if it's in good shape, and you said, yeah, I just did a really big healing day with myself today. I worked with a lot of the cards today. I wonder if I should put a crystal on them. If you want to put a crystal on them, you can. There's no problem with that. But you don't need to do it to clean the cards, okay? Because the cards are not susceptible to time, and they are not susceptible to any conflict that you're going through. They're immune to that, okay? So they're completely built on sustaining the codes that are within them. So they're very, very different. They're more permanent in that way. The only person who can change the codes in the cards is me. Okay? So if you're not me, you can't do a thing to the codes in these cards. You cannot change them in any way. You could try and put a lot of spells in them in that way. It won't work. Okay? It'll all be deflected. These are basically locked and encrypted, so that only I can actually give updates to the cards. That's another thing that's important as well too, is the cards do get regularly updated. Okay? So if a person comes to me and said, oh, Brad, I noticed with the stomach enhancer, there's this condition, and I didn't see that in the contents of the cards. Do you think you could put that in the card? Sure, no problem. All right. So then I see this condition, I go into meditation, and I put that code program directly into the stomach enhancer. Or let me just use in this way the cellular enhancer. Okay. So this is how that works. And I get a lot of questions about this. That was another important question that has come up peripherally here. Brad, how are these cards updated? Are you saying that when you update this, I have to go out and buy a new body deck? No. you instantaneously receive any particular updates that come together with these cards. So for example, if I'm working with the Cellular Enhancer, and I noticed that there's a condition there that I was not aware of, that someone brought to my attention and said, oh, Brad, I noticed that this isn't in the Cellular Enhancer. It might be good to put this in. Sure, no problem. So then I go into meditation, and again, I talk to Spirit, and Spirit puts that code directly into this card. Everybody who has this card in the body deck, the Cellular Enhancer, for example, will instantly receive the update that comes together with that card. Okay? So it is not about going to my website and buying a brand new body deck again. No. Updates automatically happen to the cards that you have. Okay? That's what's so cool about this. It would be like the idea that when your computer gets an update, right? It's getting an update to making its system run better. You don't have to go out and buy a new computer. Okay? You don't need to go out and buy a bunch of new software for it. No, it's included with the update of your software. Well, that's what this represents as well too. This is like the software. So when I put these updates into these cards, you are instantly receiving them because you have the card. Okay? This image is everything. It's like a photo. It's like a snapshot, a captured image that contains all of these codes. So as soon as that new snapshot is updated, then the card instantly receives it. So you're getting all the updated benefits from the cards just by having your usual deck. Okay? You do not have to go out and buy another one. It's no more different than software updates on your computer. You're just getting software updates. You can still use the software. You don't have to buy anything new. You're just getting updates. Okay? The exact same thing with the healing code cards. You're just getting updates. You do not have to buy any new decks. People got confused by that. Saying, Brad, do I have to buy a new deck now because you got all these updates? I said, no. These updates are included. This is software. Okay? You're getting updated. This is spiritual software, and you're getting updates all the time. Okay? So people just have to contact me and say, Brad, I've gone through your contents list. I noticed that this is not here, and this is not here, and this is not here for these particular cards. Maybe it's a good idea to update them. Sure, I'll be more than happy to do that. And usually I'll put that up on the website as well too. Under contents of cards, usually it'll show like a bold word, and it said, here's the update for this as well too. So updates are happening. And like I said, the more of you that are just kind of scouring the contents of the cards, whether it's the body deck, the mind deck, the energy deck, okay, and you notice something there that could be a really good improvement, if I tell you it's already there, then it's already there. But if there's something that I missed, I'm more than happy to update the cards, and everybody instantly gets that update freely with the cards that they already have. Okay? So that's how it works. It's a spiritual software update, free, through the cards that you already have. Right? That's how it works. So, to answer your question again, Kels, no, you do not need to clean the cards. Okay? You do not need to clean them energetically. You can certainly clean them physically, but they are hard-coded into that, and that source spirit energy through the cards themselves cannot be manipulated. It cannot be corrupted. That's impossible. Okay? Thank you for your question. Okay. So this one here, this is from Shirley Q. Shirley says, question, I have sensitive eyes at night. I used 3 sample cards, 60 seconds stare. During night and next day my eyes burned and one had a scratch. I put drops in during the night. Nothing happened. Coincidence. Well, your eyes shouldn't be getting scratched unless you're putting the cards in your eye or something like that. So try not to do that. But like I said, even if you're working with the eye enhancer, okay, just do this. Okay, you don't need to do anything else. Another simple thing, especially if you're sleeping at night, one of the things you can do is just put it under your pillow. Okay, or have the capture method. Use a photo and put it down on the card. This is the same thing with the sample cards. Okay, the free sample cards that are on healingcodecards.com, you can print them out on photo paper as well too. But if you're having eye problems and you're trying to sleep, okay, don't do this. Because maybe the corner of the eye, maybe the corner of the paper scratches you when you're tossing and turning at night. That's not a wise thing to do. Okay, so put these under your pillow. Okay, or charge your water and have a glass of water before you go to sleep. Or again, if you do want to put it on your body, maybe just put it on your body for a few minutes before you drift off to sleep. Or again, using the capture method, putting your photo on top of it, talking to the card as well too. Okay, I want to heal my eyes. Keep my eyes in great shape, make them sharp. Let it be done. Okay, and you put it off in the corner. Okay, I'm not talking about you guys having to do this, right? Putting this on your face like this when you're trying to sleep. That's not a good idea. Okay, we don't want to do that. So when you're doing the 60-second stare at night, that's good. Okay, but you can go longer than 60 seconds. It doesn't have to just be 60 seconds. 60 seconds is the minimum. Okay, you could stare at it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour if you want. Okay, 60 seconds is just the bare minimum. So once we do the bare minimum, that's great, but we can certainly do it longer. Okay, the longer you do it, then this can also help in regards to concentration, right? We're concentrating the codes deeply into the cards, kind of like meditating. And the yogis would always talk about focusing on an object and to concentrate on that object because that represents your connection to the divine. Well, the same thing goes with the cards. Okay? If you decide to do the gaze method and you're staring at it for 5, 10, 15 minutes, well, that's your object of focus, and you're receiving everything within those codes that are deeply concentrating themselves into your body. Okay? So the longer you do it, the greater the benefit you will get. Okay? So like I said, 60 seconds is just the minimum. So someone may ask, well, about if I do it for like 5 or 10 minutes, will it help? Well, you'll be concentrated a lot more into that energy. So yes, it will. Okay? So we want to do it for about 5 or 10 minutes. But as long as we're doing the 60-second minimum, that's great because it goes into the cycle of your energy. Okay? But if we go 5 or 10 minutes, you're concentrating. This is why I say you want to do it a little bit longer so that you're getting more of a deeper concentration of the codes. They're going deeper, they're penetrating deeper as you do it longer. Okay? Same thing with the capture method. This is why people use the capture method. Within 24 hours, they feel amazing because they've had that 24 hours of concentration upon their hologram, representing their photo that they place down on the card. 24 hours later, they're feeling great. Okay? Capture method is one of the best for that. For long-term exposure of the card, work with the capture method. Okay, it's one of the best ways to do it. So, if you're noticing that your eyes are burning as well too, don't be alarmed. That's prana. Okay, that's prana going to work, and it's actually going in and it's clearing away a lot of the debris within the eyes. Okay, you will notice that actually if you go, for example, to Qigong healers, a very experienced Qigong healer, and you want to get them to help restore your eyes, you will notice that when they actually start to do their work, when they actually start to work in manipulating their qi, some people can feel almost like a burning sensation taking place within their eyes when that's happening. Okay, it's not that your eyes are going to spontaneously combust. It's that that's the effect of prana moving directly into your eyes. What your body is doing is it's taking the living force, the prana, and it's moving up into your eyes and it's cleansing them. And you will feel a burning sensation. Okay, that's very common. So don't be alarmed by that. That's the prana going to work, and it's clearing away a lot of the debris, a lot of the atrophy that comes into the eyes that now starts to get burned away. Right? I have a situation with my left eye as well too that I'm currently working on also because there's a little bit of debris in the back of the eyeball as well too that I'm looking to clear away. So you may notice a little bit of burning sensation. Don't be alarmed. That's prana. That's your living force being circumvented into your eyes so that the atrophy and debris and congestion within the eyes is actually being burned away. The prana is taken away. So it's a very good thing that you're noticing your eyes are burning. Okay, it's a positive thing. You can always put some eye drops into your eyes as well too. One of the things I recommend is working with silver solution. Okay, the website that I talk about is called thankyousilver.com. Okay, that's thankyousilver.com. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but they use silver solution. Okay, and it's a concentrated silver solution. It's not colloidal silver, but it's structured silver. Okay, and you take a bottle and you just take an eyedropper, drop about 3 drops into your eyes. Okay, and that will help tremendously as well too. And like I said, the burning sensation that you're getting from your eyes should only be temporary. Okay, it's not going to last very long. It's only doing that to clear out the debris and the atrophy of all this gunk that has been in the eyes for a very long time. So it's doing its cleaning job. It's doing the work that you're commanding it to do by working with the card. Okay? So that's perfectly normal. Thank you, Shirley. Okay, this one here is from Barbara. Barbara says, "Hi, Brad. Do your cards need to be told any instructions?" No, you can just basically get them to go right to work. So like I said, if I'm looking at the Cellular Enhancer right here, and if I just want to put it on my body, I can go ahead and I can do that. I don't have to say a word to the card, and it's on my body, and it's already doing the work. Now, I certainly can, as an option, talk to the cards. Okay, so I really want to scrub clean a great deal of the cells within my body, just scrubbing them clean, clearing away any debris within the cells of my body. Let it be done. Okay, and it will be done. It's as I said, these cards are alive. Okay, so like when you're working with the tarot decks, when you're working with the oracle decks, many of you know that those are living cards. Those cards are alive. Okay, are there any people here that basically use the tarot? Are there any people here that use oracle decks or use angel decks? You can just type in yes in the chat. Okay, and if the answer is yes, then you know that those cards are alive. And you know that you're talking to those cards all the time because you're asking questions and they respond to you. Okay, the healing code cards are the exact same thing. They're living and they can respond to you, but they respond to you in a very different way, because in the tarot you're mainly just asking questions or for the tarot to show you something. Okay, with the healing code cards, you can actually command them. You can give them instructions. Like, it's not if I was to basically say, okay, Cellular Enhancer, work with my heart. Well, no, I'd be better off working with a heart enhancer for that. When I'm looking with the Cellular Enhancer, I want to work with the cellular body. I want to work with the cells. Okay, so that would be more appropriate, right? I'm not going to use the small intestine enhancer and help it to fix my brain. It's not calibrated for that. I'd want to work with the brain enhancer for that. Okay, so you're working together with the cards, and you can talk to them optionally. But if you just want to basically just take one and just put it right on your body and just let it go to work, do it. That's completely fine as well too. Okay, but you can certainly talk to them based upon the area that you want to work with the most. Like I said, if you have lots of headaches, and you can work with the headache eliminator, you can work with the brain enhancer. Okay, and you can talk to both of those cards. Go ahead and clear away these headaches. I really like to have these headaches permanently released from myself. Please work on the headaches now. Okay, that's it. That's me talking to the card, just like I talk to the tarot, just like I talk to the oracle decks, just like I talk to the angel cards. Okay, exact same thing. Just a little bit different because the healing code cards have a different orientation with them, but they are living cards. They're very much alive, and they have their own intelligence based upon the areas that they are assigned to, such as the cellular enhancer, the heart enhancer, the kidney enhancer, etc. Those are the areas that they're assigned to. So if your intention is based upon any of those areas, that's the card you use, that's the card you talk to, that's the card that will go to work and do those things for you. Absolutely. They ask for nothing in return. They are here to serve. It is spirit. All right? Thank you very much for your question, Barbara. Okay, this one here is from Stacy. Stacy says, if I'm using 3 cards, like the stomach cards from all 3 decks, when looking at them, is it best to look at each 1 minute or all at once? I would say go 1 minute each. Like if you're using 3 cards all at once, right? Let's say, for example, all 3 of these are the stomach enhancer, okay? It's going to be a little challenging for me to look at all 3 of them at the same time, okay? So if I'm using 3 cards of the stomach enhancer, here's number 1. Okay, I look at that for 60 seconds. Here's number 2. Okay, I look at that for 60 seconds. Here's number 3. Okay, I look at that for 60 seconds, and that's fine. But if you're working with a stomach enhancer, like I said, make sure you're testing the methods out. Are you sampling all 4 methods? Okay, not just using the gazing method. Okay, how does the charging method feel for you? How does the body method feel for you? How does the capture method feel for you? Right? You may notice that you have a favorite one, and if you notice that the gazing one works really good for you, well, great. Then just gaze at each card one at a time. Okay, but if you want to use the body method, you're just putting all 3 on your body at the same time. Okay, and that can work very well with the stomach. If we have a glass of water right here, okay, I'm putting all 3 cards right next to the glass, charging them up all at the same time. So the gaze method is to be done 1 card at a time. Okay, when you're working with the others, okay, like the capture method as well too. With the capture method, if I have all 3 stomach cards right here, I have a photo of myself, I can put it right on top of all 3 cards, right? And I can just put that aside. All 3 cards are going to be working together. So the other 3 methods can be used simultaneously with the cards. The only one that's being used one at a time is the gaze method, okay? Because that's your concentration. Okay? Doesn't mean it's lesser or better or anything of that nature. That's just how the gaze method works. The gaze method works with one card at a time. All the other methods can be done with simultaneous cards, multiple cards at the same time. Okay? So that's something very important just to remember. Thank you for your question, Stacy. Okay, this one here is from Mana. Mana says, on the PDF instructions of the card decks, it tells you what cards need direct commands if... Sorry, I lost your question there, Mana. So they basically give direct commands, if I'm understanding you correctly. Instruction of card decks saying that if it tells you what card needs direct command. Well, you don't really need a direct command from the card, right? What you're doing is you're looking at the 4 methods that work together with you. And if you want to talk to the cards, you certainly can. Like I said, when you're doing the gaze method right here, you would have to basically send me a quote of what the area you're talking about, though, with the PDF, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Basically, if I'm doing the gaze method, I don't need to put any command into the card when I'm doing the gaze method. I don't need to put any command when I'm doing the body method. I don't need to put any command when I'm charging the water. I don't need to put any command when I'm putting a picture on top of the card and putting it off somewhere. Okay? I don't need to verbally say anything if I do not want to. But if I do want to say a command, I can go ahead and I can do that. That's an option. Okay? So like I said, you have to be a little bit more specific in what you're asking. Okay? Like I said, if you quote something from me from the manual, then I can basically help you out with that. Okay? I just have to make sure that I'm getting the impression of what you're properly asking. Okay? Thank you, Mana. So Faye says, I'm having the stomach issues with constipation and bloats. Okay, so we do want to work with the stomach first. Yeah, stomach is important. And then we can start working together with, we want to make sure, is our liver okay? Okay, we got to work with our liver. Is our kidneys okay? Okay, we got to work with our kidneys. Are our intestines okay? It's large intestines, small intestines. Okay, are they okay? We want to work with that. So we're going through a sequence here. So we want to make sure that the major organs in our body are functioning well. Because like I said, the stomach is, I would say, the most important one to work with first. You want to work in clearing up the stomach. Okay, any problems there, any complications? If you have low stomach acid, right, and the glands in your stomach are compromised in certain ways, you're having more problems with the stomach, well, that can be what's causing indigestion in the first place, is through the stomach just by itself. And then the rest of the organs in that sense are dealing with skewed digestion. Okay, so we want to work with the major organs. So Faye, what I would suggest is you work with every single major organ that's in the body deck. Okay, and you can then work with the mind deck as well too, and the energy deck. But I'd say start off with the body deck first, and just get the major organs purified. Start working with them. Okay, that depends upon your vitality energy. If you have strong, potent vitality energy, you can use a multitude of cards at the same time. If your energy is very low and very thin, because you're not getting too much of a reaction from the cards, then just start off with your top 3. Okay, so top 3, for example, could be the stomach and the small and large intestines. Okay, so that could be an example there. And work with that, I'd say, for at least a week. This is, again, if you have low potency or thin energy. Okay, but if you have strong energy, you can put a multitude of cards. You could probably just do all the major organs in one day and just work upon that. And like I said, there's a reason why if we have low vital energy, if we have thin energy, there's a reason why we're basically just doing a limit of 3 cards. Your body is already super busy trying to manage itself with a polluted body, okay? It's very toxic, right? Maybe there's obesity involved, maybe the organs are in very, very low integrity, and we don't want to continue to overwhelm the body. So again, if you are very low vitality, right, if you're struggling to breathe, okay, if you feel like you have just very, very low energy, you don't really have a lot of energy to do something, well, that would be considered a low vital. Okay, so low vital, I would say, is just working with 3 cards per week. Okay, so like I said, if you're working with the stomach, okay, now here's the bit of the catch here. If you're working with a stomach enhancer, you could use all 3 of the stomach cards in the body deck, the mind deck, and the energy deck, and that would be okay. That would count as 1 card, because it's concentrated on one area. Okay. Same thing if it's the heart enhancer. If it's the heart enhancer from the body deck, the heart emotional releaser from the mind deck, and the heart purifier from the energy deck. Okay. 3 cards, 1 area. So basically I could say, to clarify this, is we can work on to 3 areas per week. Okay? So you could use 3 cards that are specific to those areas, and that's fine. That would count as 1 card. So again, if I'm using Stomach Enhancer, Stomach Emotional Releaser, Stomach Purifier, 3 cards from the 3 decks on that one area, that could count as 1 card. Okay? Now I'm working with Small Intestinal Enhancer, Emotional Releaser, Purifier. That can count as 1 card on the small intestine. I'm working with Large Intestine, Enhancer, Emotional Releaser, Purifier. I put that on the large intestine. That counts as 1 card because it's working on a certain area. So you have 3 areas you can work with. And that's good because that's not overtaxing the body. It's not putting any harsh processes on the body because the body needs to gently recover. Okay? So like I said, the healing code cards are an addition to your healing. They are not a replacement. So make sure you're also working with other methods as well too. Other practices, making sure your diet is good, making sure you're exercising as best as you can each day. Meditate. Okay? Work with your emotional body. Bcr Technique. Okay? Bcr Technique, very, very important. Okay? I would say Bcr Technique is just as important as the healing code cards, if not even more so. Okay? I would actually put Bcr Technique first and then the healing code cards second. Okay? Because the Bcr Technique, you're doing your inner work. Okay? Healing code cards help you to a certain degree with that, but not as deep. So Bcr Technique, healing code cards. Okay? Very, very important. So I recommend everybody just watching my channel, please go do the Bcr Technique. I'm not going to beg you, but I strongly recommend you work with the Bcr Technique 30-day challenge on my playlist. Okay? That is what's going to help you the most. Like I said, I recommend that even more than I recommend the healing code cards. Okay? I love the healing code cards. I love this spiritual technology. They're great and they're very helpful, but you got to work with Bcr. Okay? Because that's your inner work. And that's so very important. All right? So here's one from Barbara. If the cards get creases, do the creases affect the healing codes? No. No. If they get creases, they're still fine. They'll still work. Like I said, the only problem is if your card tears. Okay? If there's a rip. Okay? If it's ripped, then the card's not going to work. Okay? Creases, right? The image is still intact, even if there's a crease. All right? The only way that your card is not going to work is if you rip or tear it. Okay, if it's ripped or torn, like say for example, if this card here is torn up the edge here, right, there's a big tear and it's loose, then it wouldn't work, I'd have to throw it away. Okay, so make sure you're just taking good care of your cards, especially if you have the printed deck, then you want to make sure that you're taking good care of them. One of the things I could suggest is getting those plastic passport pouches. Okay, you get like a plastic pouch and you put some of your cards in there, you seal it in, they're going to be well protected. Okay, so get like those passport plastic pouches and put some of the cards in there, and they'll be very, very well secure. Okay, something I would suggest for you. Thank you, Barbara. Okay, so this one is KD Perceptions. When using the capture method, can I use a picture of my husband and I together using one of your cards to work on us both, or does the image need to be individual people? No, if you have a picture of yourself and your husband, it's going to work on both of you, right? Because that's your hologram. Okay, your husband's hologram and your hologram is contained inside that photo. So this is it. Now, basically, for example, if you have a picture of yourself and behind you is a large crowd of about 100 people, those 100 people are going to get the benefits of the healing code cards as well. Okay, that's how the healing code cards work. That's how they're programmed. Spirit is going to work with all of those people behind you at the same time, because their energy is contained inside the picture. Their hologram is there, right? It's something you can do if you want, no problem. But like I said, out of a courtesy, it's really just good to ask a person. Okay, so what I would normally suggest is if you do have one, say of yourself and your best friend, right? And your best friend doesn't know anything about the healing code cards. She doesn't know that this is being worked on or anything of that nature. It's good maybe just to give her a call or drop her an email and say, hey, do you mind if I did a healing on you? Sure, go ahead. Great, no problem. If she's so stubborn and you know that she could use some healing, talk to her higher self, okay? Do some divination. So you certainly could take a picture of like 1,000 people and you could work on this. Of course, the healing code cards are only going to benefit, But the thing is, you don't really know what the condition is of all of those people. You don't know in that sense when they're now getting the healing code cards upon them that they're getting blasted with this frequency and they don't even know. Because some people in that crowd can have very potent life force energy. And now all of a sudden they're getting blasted with all this energy, right? So I really wouldn't recommend doing that. I mean, it's okay. If you got like 1,000 people in a crowd and you're saying, hey guys, do you want the healing code cards to work on it? Yeah. Well, great. Perfect. That's great. Take a picture of everybody. Okay? Take a big crowd picture and now everybody can work together with it. But we just want to be mindful in that sense. Like I said, these are not going to harm anybody. But again, like I said, based on how potent a person's energy is, they can really feel the healing code cards going to work and they don't even know what's wrong with them. Right? So it's just a courtesy that we have, that we're making sure that we're asking the person, okay? That would be step one. And like I said, if they're stubborn and you know that they need healing, go into divination, ask if it's okay, and then you can do it, all right? So that's just something to be aware of, right? But if you and your husband are in the same picture, yes, you're both going to be receiving the effects of the card that your photo is placed upon, okay? Absolutely. Thank you, K-Deep. Okay. K-Deep Perceptions. Allison says, once the water is charged with a card, does it last for a long time? If I wanted to place a gallon and put it in the refrigerator. Just on a water level, I wouldn't recommend doing that. Okay, I'm not even talking about the cards. I really wouldn't recommend you do that to your water. You don't want your water to be old. Okay. I would also suggest that you keep your water room temperature and not cold. Okay. Cold water isn't very good for the heart. Okay, it can take a toll on the heart over time. What you want to do is you want to make sure that your water is room temperature. Okay, I never put my water in the fridge. I always leave it on the counter. Okay, it's room temperature. Now, if it's a scorching hot day, I get it. Okay, if it's a scorching hot day as I brought, it's like 30 degrees Celsius out. It's like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, I really need to put it in my fridge. Okay, then put it in your fridge. That's fine. But if you have, an adequate room temperature where everything's kind of cool, try to keep your water at room temperature. Okay, that's much more better for your heart. Okay, so I would not recommend you putting water in the fridge. Okay, unless it's scorching hot, it's just sweltering inside the house, then I get it. You can certainly put it in the fridge then. But like I said, if you have a decent temperature inside your house, try to leave the water out. Okay, and just have it on the counter. Keep it at room temperature. Okay, and then drink it. That's just an overall impression for water by itself. Now, when you're working with the healing code cards, as long as that glass of water that you have charged exists, the cards exist in it. These codes do not fade away. Okay, this is permanent. Okay, these have the codes. So if I'm basically taking my glass here, I'm putting it on there. Maybe I'm leaving it on overnight, which I really wouldn't do, right? But nonetheless, if I decide to do that, in the morning the codes will be there. Absolutely. Okay, you have to remember that water has memory. Okay. As water has memory, it is really, really good in collecting all of these codes because the codes are working with the prana of the water. So as long as you have put codes in the water, it will exist for as long as the water is there. But like I said, if you're putting it in the fridge and you're leaving it out, it's probably not going to taste very good. Okay, so try and keep it at room temperature. That's what I'd recommend the most. Right? That way, if you're just drinking really cold water in that sense, like I remember those days. Like, no, I don't want to drink that freezing cold water, right? I want to just make sure that my water is room temperature and it doesn't taste old, right? I want to kind of get that refreshment. It's kind of like if you're going to like a spring and you have some bottles and you're collecting the spring water and you just want to drink it right away. It's that refreshing feeling. That's the best kind of water you could ask for. Water that just stays out for a very long time. And it's not going to be very refreshing. It's going to taste old, right? So we want to try and keep our water as fresh as possible, okay? And now putting the healing code cards on it for a couple minutes, and then enjoy receiving the codes with really nice fresh water, okay? Room temperature. All right, thank you, Allison. Okay, Akira777 says, can the healing code cards be used with Reiki healing? Absolutely. Yes, you can absolutely work with Reiki healing. Some people can even use it with crystal healing as well, too. They'll put a healing code card right here. Let me grab one of my crystals here. Okay, for example, okay, let's say this crystal is charged, right? I was doing it with meditation. It's charging energy in it. And let me try another card here. Kidney Enhancer, Mouth Throat Enhancer, and Wrist Enhancer. Let's say Skin Enhancer, that's fine. Okay, so here's Skin Enhancer. Okay, and now we're doing a crystal healing session. So what do? I put the Skin Enhancer down here. I'll put the crystal right on top of it. Okay, no, I'm not cleaning the card. I'm actually working together with the crystal all together. Okay, so I charge this all night and it's working on the skin. Okay, so all the energy in the crystal will work with the Skin Enhancer, and again, it's just giving it an extra boost with all of the life force energy that you've put into the crystal. Okay, so I can put that on. I can also work with the chakra cards in the mind deck. Okay, so I can work with the crown. Say I'm working with the crown chakra releaser. Okay, so I'll put this, maybe I don't have to put it on top of the head, but I'll put it right here, and I'll use a crystal with it as well too, and that's for the crown chakra, or again, as I would say, the crown center. Back in the day, I was calling it the crown chakra. Nowadays, I mostly just refer to it as the crown center. Okay, but that is something I can do. All right, so I can use that, no problem. So absolutely, guys, the cards are completely compatible with any healing technique that you do. Okay, if you're doing quantum touch healing, if you're doing Reiki healing, if you're doing bioenergetic healing, okay, you can work with the cards as well too. You can put the cards on the person. Okay, if you're a healer and you have the healing code cards, well, that's perfect. You use the mind deck, work with a person's chakra centers with the cards, putting a crystal over top of them. Okay, if you're doing sound healing, get a person to hold some cards, okay, while they're listening to some sound healing vibration. That'll work really good as well too. They are completely compatible. They work with everything. Okay, so if you have a certain practice that you're working with, the healing code cards are very happy to join you with that practice. Okay, they will complement your practice. So that's something you can absolutely work with. So Reiki healing and many other forms of healing, absolutely. Okay, I would actually encourage that. Mix it together with the work that you're doing. It's a very good idea. Okay. So KD Perception says again, could you put a picture of the world up to the chemtrail card to heal the planet from chemtrails? You certainly could. Yeah. But like I said, remember that the chemtrail eliminator works with subtle energy. Okay, it's a very subtle energy. My suggestion instead is just taking some photos of the sky in your area. Okay, maybe take about 4 or 5 pictures just of the sky in your local area. And now print out those pictures, and now grab the chemtrail eliminator and put that down on top of the pictures. Or again, I should say, sorry, let me go the other way around. If this is the chemtrail eliminator, the pictures are down on top of the card here, and you can do that. Okay, so yes, that works, but like I said, it's subtle energy. Okay, so what will happen is over time, you may notice that the chemtrails in your area become less and less because you've had those pictures over top of the chemtrail eliminator for a matter of days, and now you're noticing that your sky is being completely cleared. Okay, do not try to use the healing code cards to save the world. Okay, that's very important. First of all, you won't be able to do it. Second of all, that's not what they're designed for. Okay, they're more for personal use. Okay, and they can help other people, yes, but they're not here to completely end the chemtrail agenda. I will end the chemtrail agenda with the chemtrail eliminator. No. Okay, like I said, you could put it upon the earth and there will be certain effects here and there, mostly, like I said, in your area, because again, it's your energy that's coming upon that card. Okay, but this is what I suggest, is just going outside, taking some pictures of the sky. Take about 4 or 5 pictures, print them out on photo paper. Okay, have the chemtrail eliminator right here, put the cards on top, and just put them aside. Okay, and just be observant for the next few days. You'll notice that perhaps the chemtrails have either significantly reduced or they're completely gone from your skies. That's what makes the difference. That's the better way to do it. Okay, not trying to think I'm going to end the entire chemtrail agenda by using the chemtrail eliminator. That's not what it's designed to do. Okay, like I said, if you have a picture of the earth and if you want to put a chemtrail eliminator on it, it may help to a certain degree, but it's not going to be exponential. Okay, so rather work with your own area with the chemtrail eliminator. Okay, the chemtrail eliminator is one of the free sample cards that's on healingcodecards.com. Okay, you can try that out. Okay, let me just go down here a bit more. This one here is from Lilium. Lilium says, Brad, I want to buy the healing code cards. I pay, but I have to send them to my friend Anne in Belgium, as Corsica is not mentioned in the list countries. The shipping name is different than the payer. Thanks. Okay. I can't really control the shipping, guys, so I can't really help you with that. So just try and find a way around it, right? So like I said, if you send it to a friend who's in another country and they can send it to you, that's great. Try that, right? I can't really do anything in regards to what PayPal or Stripe or Canada Post, because I do send everything through Canada Post, can do, right? I just send off the shipment when they arrive, and the rest is now up to the post office. Or again, it's up to the third party to which you guys pay for. Maybe in the times ahead we'll get something different, but this is just what I work with right now. So here's one from S Loves Roses. Is there a card or cards that addresses hormone balancing? Cellular Enhancer. Okay, so you'll want to work with the Cellular Enhancer. You can also work with the Reproductive Enhancer. Okay, you can also work with the Mind Deck, the Love Energy Enhancer, and the Mental Energy Enhancer as well as the Spirit Light Purifier. Okay, so I've named quite a few cards here for you. You can also work with the Energy Deck with the Twins. Okay, that's what I call the Positive Polarity Collector, the Negative Polarity Receiver. Okay, and you can work with this on your body as well too. So you may want to put this, again, we put the positive card by the solar plexus. Maybe you want to put this down by the pelvis. Okay, and we're talking to it and saying, just helping to balance out the hormones within my body. Okay, that works too. Okay, so Energy Deck will work with that also. And there's also a cellular card in the Energy Deck also, so you can work with that too. So cellular cards, very, very good. Again, reproductive cards, very, very good. The twins in the Energy Deck, okay, the Polarity twins, work together with those as well. That will help you too, okay? Let me just go down the list here a bit more. We're going to take a few more minutes worth of questions, guys, and we're going to wrap up here. We'll probably finish here before 12:30. Odile, I'm trying to remember to pronounce your name right. Is there a guide on the tutorials that suggests what card to use with different ailments? For example, is there one to help make decisions? Love these cards, okay? Well, this is why there's the contents of the cards page, okay? So if you go onto the healingcodecards.com website and you go onto the contents of cards, you'll get an idea of the overview. Now, if you're basically looking at emotional areas, what would be beneficial for you would be the Bcr technique, okay? Not the cards. If you have a difficult time making decisions, Odile, then the situation here is that you need to learn to heal your regrets, okay? Healing code cards aren't really specific for that. This is more of a deeper inner core healing, okay? Bcr technique. That's what you need to do. So again, like I said, when we're looking at the Mind Deck, we can see certain emotional releases taking place, okay? So for example, here's the Spine Emotional Releaser, okay? Spine Emotional Releaser can work and help to clear away a lot of debris, emotional debris that's around the spine, but it's not going to go into the great depths of your inner core and heal your inner deep traumas, okay? That's what we do through Bcr technique, okay? So we want to make sure that you're working with the Bcr technique a lot more. And like I said, you can certainly work alongside with the Mind Deck, because the Mind Deck does work together with the emotional and mental bodies, okay? The Energy Deck also does the same, and it makes you feel really, really good. But again, it's that deep. It's kind of like we're drilling down. It's like if we're looking at the earth here, what the Healing Code cards will do is they'll drill down, and they'll get some of the stuff beneath the surface, okay? But they're not going to go directly to the core, okay? To go directly to the core, we have to make sure that we're working together with the Bcr technique, okay? So it'll touch certain things beyond the surface, but we want to make sure that we're really handling our deep core matters with Bcr technique and conflict elimination, okay? So that's what I can suggest. Thank you very much for your question. Yeah, Anne says, I know the cards are extremely useful, but working on ourselves is also very important, right? Yes, it's exactly what I'm talking about. This is why I suggest Bcr technique first, and then the Healing Code cards afterwards, okay? So if you're just doing a Bcr technique in the morning, right, you spend 10, 15, 20 minutes doing that, and then afterwards you want to work with the Healing Code cards, go for it, right? At least you did your Bcr for the morning. Now you got all this love energy flowing through you. Now you're commanding this love energy, and now it's a great time to start working with the Healing Code cards. So absolutely, go ahead and grab all 3 decks, but work with your Bcr first. and then work with the healing code cards afterwards. That would be my suggestion. So Valentina says, colloidal silver works to some degree or not at all with ice. Yeah, colloidal silver does work. The one I'm talking about, though, is not colloidal silver. Okay, structured silver is a little bit more potent than colloidal silver. Okay, it works with a little bit more potency with the silver itself. Okay, the parts per million is a little more potent. Okay, that's what I've noticed, because I've used colloidal silver in the past. It didn't really do too much for me. It did a little bit of stuff. It was fine. But then I used the thank you silver. Big difference. Okay, so structured silver in this context is a little bit more different than colloidal. Okay, that's not a colloidal silver. They don't even admit that on their website. Right? This is not colloidal silver. This is structured silver. So it's a little bit more deeper, a little bit more potent. That's why I would suggest thankyousilver.com. I'm not sponsored by them. It's just something I use, and it helps. It works great. Okay. All right. David of Shield says, the printed edition Mind Deck and the printed edition Special Edition Body Deck are sold out all the time. Well, David, you got to get on it, right? I put these up. I say, okay, guys, it's ready. And then it just goes just like that, right? It takes time for me to print these cards out and to finally get them ready, okay? You guys got to be on the ball. That's your job. I'm just here to say, here you guys go, they're ready, right? And then you'll get a chance to grab them. You got to act fast, okay? These things fly off the shelf fast. Can't really help that. That's just how they are. So it is what it is, right? Okay. So this one is from Bebo. Bebo says, when you use capture method for someone, does the picture of the person have to be recent? No. No. They could basically be their 5-year-old self, and it's still going to work on their hologram. Okay? That person, as long as they're alive, is here. So whether you have a 3-year-old version of themselves, a 5-year-old version of themselves, a 10-year-old version of themselves, if I was doing an intuitive reading on you, I would probably recommend a more recent photo. But with the healing code cards, no, it doesn't matter. You could have a picture of yourself as a baby, and it'll still work on you. Okay? Because that's your hologram. That's your imprint. That's your unique imprint. So that will still work on you. So the age of the person in the photo does not matter when it comes to the healing code cards. As long as that person is still alive, they're going to get the benefits from it. Okay? Okay, guys, I think we're good for questions today. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to the last episode of the Healing Code Cards free or e-course with the overview. I thank you very much. Again, this will be up on the Healing Code Cards website very soon as well, too, under tutorials. Of course, you can always check it out here on YouTube and even on the playlists with the Healing Code Card free e-course. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for your participation today. And I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care and be well.